Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to read a new chapter, that is Glimpses of Past, from class 8th English, taken up from your textbook Honey Dew, written by S.D. Savant. First of all, we have to know about the term means glimpses of past. My dear children, glimpses means a very quick and not complete view of something or somebody. It can be says a short experience of something that helps you to understand it. And what do you mean by past? The term means already gone, belonging to a time before the present, means just finished or last. So the chapter is glimpses of past. Here are some pictorial glimpses of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857. These pictures and speech bubbles will help clarify your understanding of the conditions that led to the event known as the First War of Independence in 1857. Here we have to learn about and we have to know about our freedom fighters too. How they have given the sacrifices for our nation and for our country. Here, glimpses of past is a recollection of some of the historical facts of India freedom movement. It begins with a glimpse of the first celebration of the Indian independence, where the renowned singer Lata Mangeshkar reminds the countrymen to remember the sacrifices of those who died for the country. The lesson also highlights about the 1857 meeting and its heroes. The British applied the policy of divide and rule, and very soon they occupied the whole of India. So let's move to the introduction. This chapter gives the detailed glimpses of history of our country from 1757 to 1857. It gives the details of the conditions, situations that led to the first war of independence in 1857. How the East India Company conquered the rulers with the help of their superior weapons. This helped the Britishers to enlarge their territories in India. They promoted the superstitions of Indians. They imported goods from Britain without import duty and also chopped off the thumbs of the expert artisans. They used to pay less incentives and salary to Indians working for British Army. All these and other conditions led to the explosion in 1857. Here we can see the glimpses of our country, of our nation. I am going to tell you about the brief sketch of all these. Here we are able to see the picture of Lata Mangeshkar. She was born on September 28, 1929 at Indore, British India. She is a legendary Indian playback singer noted for her distinctive voice and a vocal range that extended over more than 3 octaves. She recorded more than 2000 soundtracks for Indian films. Then move to next. Might be you all identified the picture. Yes, Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan was born on 20 of November 1750 and died on 4th of May 1799. Also known as the Tiger of Mysore from 1782 to 1799. Tipu Sultan fought against the British to keep Mysore's independence. The next one, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Yes, he was born in 22nd of May 1772 and died in 27th of September 1833. He was an Indian religious, social and educational reformer who was one of the founder of the Brahma Sabha, the precursor of the Brahma Samaj, a social religious reform movement in the Indian subcontinent. He was given the title of Raja by Akbar II, the Mughal emperor. Move to next picture. Yes, Mangal Pandey, one of the freedom fighters. Mangal Pandey was born on July 19, 1827 at Akbarpur, India and died on 8th of April 1857, Barakpur. Indian soldier whose attack on British officials on March 29, 1857 was the first major incident of what come to be known as the Indian or Sepoy. In upcoming glimpses of past, we can see all of the characters whoever mentioned here. So I have given you the brief details about freedom fighters. Let's move to the pictorial glimpses of the history of our country. Here we can see in page number 36. Children, you have to keep your test book with yourself. I am going to explain you one by one, step by step. Here we have put your page number 36. I am going to read it first. Here we are seeing that the marchers means the nation celebrated its independence on August 15, 1947 and paid homage to all its marchers. Move to next. The company's conquest 1757 to 1849. Here we can see that with its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its power in 18th century India. Indian princes were short-sighted. The upstart Raja Ash Bah called the English merchants. They will help to defeat him. The people had no peace due to such constant fights. The rivalries helped the East India Company and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. A far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. Thank God there is a peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. It is God who sent the British. How did Indians react to these conquests? Our destiny is linked with them. The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Some kings were not good, but after all, they were of this land. Now we have become slaves or foreigners. I'm going to explain you this. I'm going to read the picture bubbles. Here we have to see that in page number 38. Here mentioned British rule from 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. And then anyone who crosses the sea loses his religion. All the misery in the world is due to women. The truth was that Indians has lost self-respect. The British scorned them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. True, Your Honor, but I am honest. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. But your men are taking up all my crop. You are still in the arrears. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profits. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. A good idea. The East India companies have begun to cripple Indian industries. Inevitably, famines followed between 1822 and 1836. 15 lakh Indians died of starvation. The British policies ruined the export artisans and their business. So here we can see that the East India Company with its superior weapons extended its power in 18th century in India. They helped the rival kings in their wars and this easily subdued Indian princes one by one. Here we can see Britishers ruled India by divide and rule policy based on absurd practices like untouchability and child marriage, prominent in Indians. Secondly, they imported foreign goods in India without import duty and also cut the thumbs of export artisans. Here we can see that in brief summary or explanation, we'll see that the East India Company was extending its power in the 18th century. The rivalry between the Indian princes and their short-sightedness gave a chance to the English merchants and the company to get successful in their ventures. The rule of the East in India Company was looked as a blessings by many as it restored some peace and order. The others, however, viewed and the throning of their Indian kings as a shame and regretted submitting under the outsiders' rule. Tipu Sultan of Mysore lay down his life fighting the British. India at this point was steeped into religious orthodoxies and superstitions. Practices like untouchability, child marriages, and low social status given to women were just a few to mention. The Britishers, on the other side, were far sighted and industrious. They scorned the Indian for these evil practices as well as for their dishonesty. Their laws crippled the Indian industries and strengthened their rule. The English goods were imported to be sold in the Indian markets without any import duty, while the Indian farmers were lived with heavy taxes on their produced. This burden on the Indian farmers led to famine and death of several thousand Indians. They are paying very less amount, and the burden of on the Indian farmers led to famine and death of the several thousand Indians. Here we see in page number 39, section number 4, about Raja Ram Mohan Roy from 1772 to 1833. In here picture bubbles I am going to read what is given. Ram Mohan Roy, a learned man from Bengal, understood what was wrong with the country. Let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. He told his wife Uma that are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. He was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. He started newspapers, but the suspicious British stopped them in 1823. He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. There he told them, "We accept you as ruler and you must accept us as subject, but you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects." So here we can see that Raja Ram Mohan Roy understood the British policy and started mission for free India. He reformed the society from its social evils and practices. He banned sati practice. Here we can say Raja Ram Mohan was a learned man from Bengal who valued the Indian tradition but understood that the society was in need for reform. He understood that the essence of all religions was the same. Therefore, respect and tolerance is the key to a united social existence. At the same time, he was attracted by the scientific and modern forms of knowledge and realized that anything that could be explained through reason should be accepted as the truth. He travelled to England and thereafter accepted the rule by British, but only if they were willing to fulfill the responsibilities towards their Indian subjects. He also started newspapers in India, but the suspicious British soon stopped them in 1823. Here we move to the next section, that is Operation from 1765 to 1835. Here we have to continue our section number 6, that is in page number 41. Dissatisfaction from 1835 to 1856 in continuation. Here I am going to read the picture bubbles of the mentioned in the story. But the British continued to oppress Indians. In 1818, they had passed regulations third. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. All the time, British officials in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. By 1829, Britain was exporting goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. Governor General Bentinck reported back home, the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. The British prospered on the company's loot, while Indian industries began to die. Here we can see in dissatisfaction 1835 to 56, education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Mackley suggested a change. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. We should teach the natives through the English language, I agree. We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material conditions. For that, we must convey our grievance to the British Parliament. By 1856, the British had conquered the whole of India. They cared little about the need of Indians. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our old jobs and lands. They are converting our brothers. You only talk. Do something to drive them out. Here we can see that British courts passed a regulation that Indians could be sent to jail without trial in a court. On the other side, oppressed the Indian cottage industries by importing foreign goods. A wave of dissatisfaction against British policies started spreading in the society, and people wanted to get rid of them. They wanted to be free at the time because they get tortured a lot by the Britishers. This phase was entirely marked by the oppressive policies of the British. They imposed Regulation 3 on the Indians, according to which Indians could be jailed without trials. They heavily exported their English goods to the Indian markets and made huge profit on the basis of this. They also profited through private business they established in India. With every passing day, the Indian industries were ruined while the British increasingly prospered. Deep rooted dissatisfaction has seeped among the Indians by this time. The British tried to replace the Persian and Sanskrit language with their English language. They taught English language to the Indians without any uniformity and created a new class of intellectuals who could work as clerks or middlemen between the Indians and the British. These intellectuals invested a lot of faith in the English education and the English policies. So the reality, however, was that British cared little about Indians. Many Indians lost their existing jobs and positions by 1856. The British had established their rule on nearly the whole of India. So here we can see the dissatisfactions among the Indians. The Britishers wanted to replace the Persian and Sanskrit language with their English language. They created a new class for intellectuals who could be work as clerks or the middleman between an Indians and the British. Here we can move on page number 42. Here the Sparks 1857, 1855 to 1857. Here we can see taxes continue to ruin the peasants in Bengal. The Santhals who had lost their lands under new land rule became desperate and 1865 they rose in rebellion and massacred Europeans and their supports alike. Discontent was brewing in the East India Company's armies too. The white soldiers get huge pay mentions to live in servants, while we get a pittance and slow promotions. The Angrez ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is the topi wala to abolish our age old customs? We must drive out the Angrez. Sepoy Mughal Pandey attacked the adjutant of his regiment and was executed. Thousands of other sepoy revolted. They was stripped of their uniforms, humiliated and put in irons. Oh, proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to bite is made from the fat of cows and pigs? Few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian customs of the or the people's mind. What? The white man has deceived us too. Soon chapatis were sent from village to village to tell the people that their emperor would want their services. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers that to the foreigner. The masses gave all help and shelter to the patriots. Here we can see that the spark for the war in 1857 was the fat of cow and pigs used in the grease of bullets. This was done to spread communalism in Indians. Mangal Pandey was the first who attacked the adjutant and this was humiliated and put in irons. Soon the word circulated all over the India and this led to revolt of 1857. The discontent had risen to such a level that it was now taking the form of a rebellion. Taxes ruined the peasants and the new land rules had made the Santhals in Bengal desperate. They massacred Europeans and their supporters. Similar situation was to be seen within the India Company's army. The Indian soldiers were quick to understand that their English counterparts were getting a much better salary, bungalows to live in, and servants to attend them. The Indian soldiers were merrily losing their religion and age old customs by traveling to distant lands, which was considered against their customs. They also found out that the grease used on the bullets was made from the fat of cows and pigs, which was a blasphemy for most Indians. They soon spread their message to their brethren, brethren in the villages to be ready with support in case of an open revolt. Move to page number 43. Here, section 8, a revolt, 1857. How the revolt begins? What was the reason basically behind that? That was the fat which was used in Greece. The fat was cows and pigs. Here we can see thus there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. The sepoys marched to Delhi. Long live our emperor Bahadur Shah. The rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their lands because of the British policy and they were sure the white man's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. It shows that the revolt of 1857, the conditions and the circumstances of the revolt 1857. Here we can see the fight for freedom 1857. Many former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom. Popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Faizabad told the people, rise brothers, rise, the Angraj is ruining our land. They joined the upsurge against the foreigner. The people rose everywhere in Bareilly, Kanpur and Allahabad. Azimullah Khan told Tatya Tope, we should have Peshwa Nana Sahab as our leader in this war of independence. The patriots pounced upon the British and fought peace battles all over North India. 80-year-old Kunwar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. This is all from our freedom movements taken up by the writer S.T. Sawant. So here in brief we have to see that many former rulers supported the revolt. Peshwa Nana Sahab was made the leader in the war of independence. People sacrificed their lives. Finally the revolt began and it got wider and wider. The sepoys marched to Delhi. The landlords also offered their support. All like sung praises of Bahadur Shah, their emperor, and shouted slogans like death to the foreigners. The War of Independence was initiated. People rose in rebellion in Bareilly, Kanpur, and Allahabad. Many former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow, popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah of Fazabad and others joined the upsurge against the foreigners. Azimullah Khan told Tatya Tope that Peshwa Nana Sahab should be chosen as the leader in the war of independence. Kunwar Singh and various other patriots pounced and fought against the foreigner all over North India. Here in the very previous section we have seen that Lata Mangeshkar was sung a famous song, ए मेरे वतन के लोगों ज़रा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी ज़रा याद करो कुर्बानी. So here we have seen the fights among the Britishers and Indians. Let's move to the word meaning section. Here we can see the words and their meanings. First one is martyrs, means one who willingly accepts death. Then next, sacrifice means give up. The next, short-sighted means not thinking even fully. The next, subdue means control. Rivalries means enmity. Dethroned means overthrow. Preach means ceremonies. Conquest means to win. Scorned means disrespect. Unworthy means undeserving. Arrears means money left to be paid. Artisan means people who are artists or experts. Reform means to amend or correct. Oppress means way down. Regulation means rule or act. Grievance means complaint. Peasants means farmer. Massacre means to kill people brutally. Cripple means physically disabled. Despise means hate. Superstitions means false notion, blind faith. Essence means core. Brewing means prepare a drink. Regiment means brigade. Sepoy means soldier of Indian origin. Upsurge means a wave of people here. Pittance means low salary. So here we have seen the sacrifices of our freedom fighters. How they have given freedom for our nation or for our country. Here few of the suggested activities for you. Children, you have to do it. History becomes fun at this school. Read the news item adapted from the Times of India, New Delhi, October 2007. Mentioned in your test book or given in your test book. Based on that news items, write a paragraph on what you think about this new method of teaching history. This one is also correlated with history. So hope you have all gone through this chapter, Glimpses of the Past. Thank you for watching, children. To be continued in session number 2. Thank you.